There is a lot that goes into the build phase. In addition to being in lockstep with engineers and product designers, this is also when product managers have to defend the product roadmap. The teams building new functionality are already bought in, but there is work to be done to get buy-in across the organization and from leadership. As such, you might ask questions like, how do I build confidence in the product vision? How can I create trust across the organization in what I'm building? How will I bring teams along for the ride and get their help? How do I keep executives confident in what's being built? At this point in the life cycle, you've put in a lot of work to define your roadmap based on the problem you're going to solve and the solution that will help you do so. The last thing you want is for an influential VP of sales to come in and disrupt the build process with a request that has to make it into the first iteration. Unfortunately, this happens all too often. The best way to combat this and other types of disruptions is by making sure you're socializing your roadmap and properly explaining the why behind what you're building. In the lead up to the release, how can you make sure teams across the business recognize the value of this new functionality? Here's what this might look like for different teams. For sales, how will this new feature make it easier for them to sell the product? Will it be free and therefore a value add for any new customer? Will customers have to pay for it, opening up new revenue streams? For customer support, how might what you're building help drive down support tickets and calls? Is it solving a common instance of user friction? And for leadership, how will the new product or feature impact business outcomes like customer retention or revenue? Oftentimes, product managers end up doing some sort of roadmap roadshow where they share the roadmap in the form of a slide deck in various team and leadership meetings. They use the presentation to share research, justify the approach, and communicate plans for what's being built. While this can be effective, it is time-consuming. Not to mention, roadmaps and plans often change faster than you can update and reshare the slide decks. The better approach is to create a single source of truth for the roadmap that teams can access on their own. You'll also want to make sure the roadmap, whether it lives in a project management tool or a dedicated road mapping tool, can be updated quickly or even automatically when needed. Depending on your product and business as a whole, you might have separate roadmaps for each product area and/or different versions of the roadmap for different stakeholders. Here's what I mean. In a roadmap for leadership, you'll want to keep roadmap items high level and include which company goals each project ladders up to where applicable. It's also important to consider your organization's planning cadence when deciding your roadmap's timeframe. For example, if you follow a quarterly planning structure, it's best to show planned activity for the next 3 months. In a roadmap for your customers, it's best not to share hard dates, and things like your company goals won't be applicable here. Every organization has a different level of comfort when it comes to sharing roadmap information with customers. If you don't want to share a full roadmap, think about sharing a list of what is currently being built and what you have planned. This is a great way to create alignment and excitement without sharing too much. In a roadmap for internal teams, you might utilize the roadmap you created for leadership, but update it for specific teams. For example, it's useful to give your customer success and sales teams more information on general direction so they can speak to your roadmap at a high level with customers and prospects. Again, your exact roadmap practices will largely depend on the systems and structure that's already in place at your company. Regardless of how you do it, as a product manager, you can't hide out in the build phase and assume the rest of your organization will be on board. It's important to spend time educating and drumming up excitement around what you're building so that you get the support and traction you need when it comes time to launch.